You go into the conversation telling yourself you're going to stay calm. You're going to explain what happened clearly. You're not going to react. But a few minutes later, you notice your voice getting tighter. You're explaining more than you planned to. And somehow you feel pulled into the very reaction you were trying to avoid. At first, it can be hard to understand why. You started the conversation calm. Your intention was to resolve something. But something about the interaction has already shifted. When you bring up a concern, they may respond in a way that changes the focus. Instead of staying with what you were trying to discuss, the conversation moves toward your tone, your wording, or your reaction. Now you're defending your tone instead of explaining your concern. The conversation is no longer about the original issue. That is often the moment you begin to feel emotionally pulled in. Your body may notice the shift before your mind fully explains it. Your heart rate goes up. Your thoughts start moving faster. You begin trying harder to prove what you meant. Some people describe this as a narcissistic communication pattern when it happens repeatedly. Not because every disagreement is narcissistic, but because the interaction starts to organize around one person's version of events while your experience begins to lose space. For them, this can become useful. If the focus stays on your tone or your reaction, your original concern never gets fully explored. The conversation becomes about managing your response instead of understanding what happened. And confusion itself can become part of the pattern. The more confused you feel, the more you explain. The more you explain, the further the conversation moves from the issue you raised. That is why you can start calm and still feel pulled in. You're reacting to a conversation that keeps shifting away from what you were trying to resolve. That reaction is not a failure on your part. It may be your nervous system recognizing that the conversation is no longer moving toward understanding. If this happens once, it may be a misunderstanding. But when it happens repeatedly, a pattern can form. In healthy conversations, both people stay with the original concern long enough to understand it. Clarity increases. Confusion decreases. Many people respond to this by trying harder, explaining more, or speaking faster just to be understood. But sometimes the most important insight is realizing that your confusion is giving you information. When you recognize the pattern, you can stop blaming yourself for being affected by it. And that recognition creates clarity, because you begin to see that the conversation changed in ways that made understanding less likely. If this helped put words to your experience, like the video and subscribe to the channel. This channel exists to help you recognize narcissistic and manipulative patterns calmly, clearly, and without blame, so you can understand what's happening and trust yourself again. And when conversations unfold this way, another pattern often begins to form. In the next video, we're going to explain why you feel like you're walking on eggshells and how that pattern keeps the conversation from resolving. Click here to watch.